Jerry interview, activating mic number 2.
Secondary mic.
We're ready?
Yeah, anytime.
All right. Hi, Jerry. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Having a great weekend. I was the owner of the Longbranch in Aguadilla, Puerto Rico. And I'm here for a very nice weekend with Ricky Gomez. He's actually the reason I'm here. I got a call about 6 weeks ago from Ricky saying, Jerry, there's going to be a festival in Aguadilla called Remember the Longbranch, and it's going to be really nice. And I said, Ricky, I have to come. No questions asked, I had to be here. And it's been just a delightful, amazing weekend.
When was the last time you were in Puerto Rico?
The last time I was in Puerto Rico was 16 years ago, 2009. It's delightful to be back. I always loved Puerto Rico, and just to be here with Ricky and his family in this beautiful setting has just been really nice. I really enjoyed my time here.
You told me the story once when you came to open the Longbranch. You arrived at the airport with your friend and you drove around the island. What was the vibe of the spot that made you choose Aguadilla?
Well, it just felt right. We'd arrived in San Juan, rented the car, just flown into the airport from Atlanta, rented the car, hopped in the car, and just took off around to explore the island. Had never been to Puerto Rico, had no idea what to expect. We just drove around the east and the south side, went through Ponce, came up the west side of the island, up through Rincon and the Guada. Looked at some spots, but nothing felt right. Got up to Aguadilla and just happened to find this building through a realtor. And as soon as we walked in, it felt right. This is where we should be. It was empty at the time, so we had to build the bar inside the building later. And that took us about 6 months. But it just felt like this is a spot. This is where we need to be. Energy felt right, and that's how we ended up in Aguadilla.
Can you speak briefly about the Longbranch, what happened there? I know it's been documented before, but just like a quick recap.
I'd retired from home construction. I was tired, and I always thought that I would like to have a bar in the Caribbean. It sounded like a very romantic thing to do, just the usual, crap. And after I got here and saw how beautiful it was, and I just decided that we would like to be a venue for the original music.
Jerry told me a story about the Longbranch and his first 6 months there working the Longbranch, a visit that he got.
Yes. Well, I'd come down to the States, and I was not really familiar with all the operations of the businesses down here, what you had to do. So for the first 6 months that I was open, I basically had no liquor license. And I was sitting in a club one night, and 4 or 5 very well-dressed gentlemen and females walked in. And I thought immediately, well, this is not my normal crowd. This is not somebody that I would expect to see walk through the doors of the Longbranch. So they walked to the bar and sat down and asked if they could speak with the owner. And I said, well, you're speaking with the owner. And they said, well, we're here from the liquor board and we're here to check all of your paperwork. And I said, well, that's very nice, but I have no paperwork. I have no liquor license. And the gentleman who was obviously in charge said, well, would you like to get a license? And I said, yes, I would. He said, well, here's what you have to do. And he wrote down everything I would have to do in order to obtain a liquor license to be legal in Puerto Rico. And I did that, and he was very gracious. They were all very gracious. I was very thankful that after all this, at that time in Puerto Rico, this was almost like the wild, wild west when it came to operating any kind of establishment like the Longbranch. That was a long time ago. I'm sure it's not like that today. It was a very interesting experience. They were very gracious. I did all the paperwork, and I got the liquor license shortly thereafter.
How did you feel when you heard the news about the event?
Well, I was a little surprised because it's been 29 years since we closed the Longbranch, and that's a long time. And I was surprised that it was still that active in the culture.
Pero gracias a Jerry estamos aquí esta noche, que él tuvo esa visión de crear el Longbranch, ese antro histórico y particular donde muchos de nosotros salimos de ahí.
I was really surprised to hear that people even thought about it that much anymore, because it's been a long time. And after I got here, the reaction has just been almost overwhelming.
Jerry, que estás por ahí, un abrazo, es el papá de los pollitos de todos nosotros.
Bienvenidos a la clase graduanda, la reunión de la clase graduanda de rock and roll del área oeste de Puerto Rico, donde todo empezó. Un saludo cariñoso a Jerry Andrick, que anda todavía dando tumbos por ahí, más duro que todos nosotros, puñeta.
Any moment, music or non-musical, that stands out of the 2 days?
I enjoyed both days. I enjoyed all the bands. I just had a delightful time. I'm so grateful to the city of Aguadilla and to everybody that had anything to do with the organization and the production of the event. Thank you. Thank you. Much gratitude. Much gratitude. You did very well.
How did it feel to reconnect with a lot of old friends that you haven't seen in a long time?
Oh, it was absolutely fabulous. I just felt so much love coming my way. It was like no time had passed. I mean, which is always a good reference for me. That's your real friends and your real people. Yeah. No time passes.
How was that experience with the city when they gave you the proclamation?
That was an absolute surprise.
De la ciudad de Aguadilla, queremos reconocer aquí al hombre que inventó Longbranch. Míralo aquí. Este es Jerry, que los puso a gozar a ustedes en los 90. Él vino de los Estados Unidos para estar con nosotros. Bro, thank you for everything you do for Puerto Rico, for Aguadilla, bro.
I was glad to be here. I'm so happy to be here tonight. I'm so happy to see all of you. I love Puerto Rico, and it's great to be back. I love it.
Ya lo tienen, un fuerte aplauso para él.
I didn't expect anything like that at all. I was just there to enjoy the event, see old friends, have a good time, listen to the music, enjoy the crowd. The crowd was amazing. When you first heard about the event, I was expecting, well, perhaps a few hundred people who will show up, who had gone to the Longbranch and knew some of the history and were actually there to participate. I expected a few hundred people. And instead, a few thousand people showed up. Where did they all come from? I mean, this is well beyond the capacity of the Longbranch on any night. Absolutely outstanding turnout. I mean, I was so happy with that.
How did it feel to see the boys from La Mancha El Jardín?
Everybody, welcome back to the Longbranch. And welcome back La Mancha del Jardín.
I was so glad to see them back together. We were also sad after Hosian died, and that was like a real blow. And just to see everybody back on stage, like, welcome back, La Mancha. I mean, that was a really nice thing.
How did it feel seeing Scapulario again?
Very good. It was not the original lineup that I was familiar with way back in the day, but some of the original members were still there. Tonio was still there playing guitar.
Quiero dar las gracias a Jerry, que es verdad que nos dio de nuestras primeras oportunidades para saber lo que era esto y dejarnos tocar en su sitio. De verdad que gracias y bendiciones. Jerry, el hombre agente.
Had a nice visit with him.
How did it feel watching you in the documentary, Yerba Mala Nunca Muere, on screen?
That was almost a surreal experience. You never like to watch yourself. At least I never do. I don't like to watch myself on any kind of medium, and it's almost like you're outside yourself watching. Who is that goofball talking anyway? What was he talking about?
I was there backstage when all the musicians were going up to you.
Oh, I was amazed that they all still remembered me so well, and I remembered almost all of them too. They had aged a bit, of course. We all had. It's been a long time, and less hair, and more belly. Yeah, for most of us, it was really nice. I could still feel the warmth and the love coming through. It like I say, it was just an amazing experience. And just to have that much coming my way was just really delightful.
Why do you think what happened? The magic that happened there, what was it?
Well, everything just seemed to come together at the right place, the right time, with the right people. And that doesn't happen very often. I don't think it could happen again, not in 2025. Like I say, it was just it was a matter of the time in history that it was. You know, it was 1990, 1991. Things were different then. It was like a lightning striking, as I often say. I probably overuse the phrase, but that's what I think of when I think of the Longbranch. Lightning struck Aguadilla, bam. Yeah. And here came this, it was almost like magic. And I can't define magic.
Musically, I know the bands of the Longbranch were all different, but is there one sound that you would describe of Puerto Rico with these bands?
Well, I like a phrase that I heard from you earlier, saying that we put the rice and beans in rock and roll, which I thought was a great line. I mean, you put the rice and beans in rock and roll. I love all kinds of music, and I love original music. I like people that are working with music that comes from them, out of their soul, out of their experiences. And that's what I was striving for, and that's the only kind of band I was interested in. Through some sort of natural filtering process, just totally accidental, the bands that showed up fit that bill. They were organic, original. And I was a songwriter in the States for quite a few years, and I always loved musicians and songwriters and the whole production process. And I wasn't interested in somebody that was just trying to copy somebody else. You know, there's lots of bars where you can go do that, but you can't do it at the Longbranch. If you can't have the original, listen to the original, what's the point?
Now that you live in the States, do you go see live music every now and then?
Not very often. I'm kind of a hermit. I live up in the mountains in Georgia. Got some acreage and a little farm up there, and I just hardly ever go anywhere. I came to Puerto Rico. That's the first time I've been on an airplane in 16 years.
Would you like to give a shout out to Macoyo that he was the brainchild behind this?
Yes, the word that I got was that all of this was the original thought of Macoyo, who actually was a spark plug that actually kept pushing to make that ignition happen. And without him, there probably would not have been an event. Macoyo, very good.
How do you feel about all the press this got on the major news outlets promoting it?
I was a little surprised at all the press, you know, because we were always kind of like a niche thing over here. We're not like mainstream. We're not mainstream news. You know, we're like kind of the sort of like the bad boys off in the corner. You know, they're just doing their own thing, just trying not to get in anybody else's way. And I was really surprised to see all the coverage and, you know, the radio show with La Mancha on I believe that was Thursday night. That was amazing. An entire hour of La Mancha music.
If they do remember the Longbranch Part 2 next year, would you come down?
Only if I'm not in jail. If I'm not in jail or prison, I'll be here.
The city of Aguadilla said this broke records, like in attendance.
That's what I heard. That's an amazing thing, isn't it?
Y le tengo que decir que se acaba de romper récord de asistencia en eventos de Aguadilla. ¿Qué significa eso? Que el próximo año, en esta misma fecha, vamos a estar aquí con un nuevo concert de ska para todos ustedes.
This sort of event would draw the biggest crowds that Aguadilla had seen for this any kind of musical event. I was amazed to hear that. I hope that's true. I would like to believe that's true. But if so, that's an amazing accomplishment.
Rock music in Puerto Rico is like always been a niche thing.
Well,
would you think this proves that rock and roll is alive in Puerto Rico?
Absolutely. I've often said, I know I've said it to you on more than one occasion, that the only thing that I did was open the door and set the attitude. You know, the kids did all the work. You know, the musicians did all the work, and the kids who came to the club did all the work. I was just on for the ride, and what a ride.
Yesterday we went to the old spot of the Longbranch. We were inside the hardware store now, and we were walking around.
Owned by Jose, who used to own the toy store. It was right across the parking lot. And a shout out to Jose. He had the patience of Job to put up with us for all those years. Every weekend, you know, we trashed his parking lot. Every weekend we'd clean it up. And Jose, being like a really good trooper neighbor, never said one word to us about that. Not one complaint. Nothing of any sort, as well as the neighbors too. No complaints at all from any of the neighbors. I mean, just beautiful people that just let us survive there and have this crazy experience and just did not object at all. How about that?
Yeah. And do you have any words out there for maybe a future businessman that wants to open a rock club in Puerto Rico?
Yeah. Well, I think if you want to open a rock club in Puerto Rico, I think you have to realize that you can't run it as a business. It'll never be a business because you're dealing with kids that don't have a whole lot of money. And if you try to make a business out of it, you're going to take the heart right out of it. And it's not going to work. It's not going to work because you're going at it with the wrong attitude. Attitude is, to me, is everything in that endeavor. That's what controls everything. Just, you know, the right attitude and not trying to take advantage of people, not trying to extract every last dollar that you can out of the kids, not trying to keep them under absolute control, total control, like some sort of domineering force in their life. You know, you're just there to let them have a way to express themselves and have a good time and do their music.
Any last words you would like to say to all your friends here in Puerto Rico, the musicians, the fans, the new fans that discovered this event?
Yeah, well, I just love you guys. It's great to be back in Puerto Rico. I had a great time here. And it's always delightful every time I come back. If they have this event next year, I assure you, I will be here. If possible. If possible, I will be here if I'm not otherwise detained.
I want to thank you for giving us total freedom in that place.
Yeah, and nobody abused it. They kept the order. Yeah, no problems, no security guards, no nothing. You know, never had to call the cops, ever. ever. And I think it's because we had the attitude that we did. We respected you, you respect us. You know, so everybody got along.
Awesome. Jerry, I want to thank you for this interview. Let me shake your hand, brother. I love having you here, and you're welcome back anytime you want.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming to Puerto Rico and kicking ass.
Absolutely.
Right.
I loved it.